Hi, this is Stan Bush.
Hi, this is Stephanie Calvert.
This is John Payne.
This is Jack Hughes.
Hey everyone, this is Britt Lightning from Vixen.
Hi, I'm Carrie Stevens.
Hello, I'm Kofi Baker.
And you're listening to Play That Rock and Roll.
All right, we are here with Brian FORSYTHE from KIX and Rhino Bucket. Brian, how are you doing today?
Good.
Good. It's good to see you. So, KIX played your farewell show just about over a year and change ago. How are you feeling since the band closed up touring? Complicated feelings?
Well, yeah. At first I was bummed.
Yeah.
But I've sort of
Like acceptance, like the
Yeah,
12
yeah.
steps?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I hear ya. Well, Well, tell me about that show. That was in Baltimore, right? At M3?
Yeah, the place, that venue.
Yeah. Okay, right. At that venue.
Merriweather.
The Merriweather. How did that go?
It went great. They pulled all the stops for production. They gave us full production. Usually that venue, for M3, it's a festival, so we just mixed in with a bunch of other bands.
Right.
And in those situations, it's got a built-in crowd, so you're not sure who's actually there to see you or who's just there.
Yeah.
And so doing this final show at that venue, we sold it out. And
Wow.
I mean, it was as far as you could see.
Yeah.
Someone took an aerial shot, and it was just incredible. And you realize, doing that, we realized, all these people were here for us, and like we should have done this earlier.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that's so great that you guys got to have that moment, that capstone moment at the end of the run. And yeah, there's tons of KIX fans going, because you guys go back to the 70s. I think a lot of people think of like hard rock as like a late 80s kind of bandwagon thing, but like KIX was around in the early days.
Yeah, we formed in, December 77.
Okay.
So just at the end of December. Then there was a big blizzard.
Oh.
2 weeks later, we got together again. But it was the first song we worked on. I remember, when they were sort of trying me out.
Okay.
Or actually, I was trying them out.
Right, there you
I
go.
wasn't sure if I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
But they came to my parents' basement. I was living at home at my parents' house. And the first song we worked on was Atomic Bombs.
Oh, nice.
And I knew it when I heard that song, we played that song, that was something special.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a great track. So we were talking about the last show at the Merriweather. I know that must have been a very special show for you. But one of my favorite questions whenever I'm talking to artists is, what are the gigs that stand out in your mind that really stand out as being special to you? So maybe setting the Merriweather show aside, because that's the most recent one. When you look back on your run with KIX, were there moments where at certain gigs where you thought, "Wow, this is special"?
Yeah, there were certain points in our career, like when we got on the Rat tour. That was the first
Nice.
full extended tour. Like before that, we do like one-offs or like a couple shows here and there.
Yeah.
We never did a full-on tour. So that was the first tour. So that was a new experience, the whole tour bus experience, and that, for years we rode around in a van with a rider, 24-foot rider behind us.
Oh.
Rode through. And that, we finally graduated to the tour bus.
Nice.
That was a good experience. But it was short-lived because it only lasted like about a year and a half, and then we were back to the van.
Oh, sure. Well, Rat's an awesome band to tour with. How did you like that experience?
It was great. Those guys were great. I realized this earlier on one of the other interviews. It only out of all the bands we opened for, maybe 2 of them didn't treat us right.
Oh, okay.
But everyone else was cool.
And Rat was one of the cool ones.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
We had a lot of fun on that.
Who were the shitty ones? No, I'm kidding.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, tell me. No, absolutely, tell me.
The worst one was Triumph.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. Why?
And then the other one was...
They're Canadian. They should be nice.
When their crowd was even worse.
Oh, no.
But, yeah, them and the Tubes.
Oh, wow.
But I shouldn't say the Tubes. It was just V-Wave.
You know what? I saw him in concert once, and he was, like, getting political, and the crowd was booing him, and he was kind of yelling back at them. And
now, I don't want to get political, but it's kind of a mixed response there.
Yeah, it was kind of curmudgeon.
yeah, a little bit. That's a good word. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Oh, that's
But
funny.
his band was nice.
Well, yeah.
And I think that was the problem. He had a resentment right off the bat. I can remember we were at the sound check, the first show. Like we did a mini tour with them. And he walks on stage. And before we got there, the road crew was setting up our stuff. And he goes, he looks at our amps, our cabinets, and he goes, looks like this is going to be loud. And in the guitar tech, he didn't know who he was.
Okay.
And he goes, don't worry about it. Like that. And it totally pissed him off.
Yeah.
And later on, we're down at the catering. I don't know. He was just giving us a stink eye. And then to top it off, the Tubettes, the backup singers, were hanging out in our dressing room eating like that.
Oh. Oh, that's too funny. That's like Back to the Future. Sorry, kids, you're just too damn loud. You know. Oh, too funny. Well, hey, so as a matter of coincidence, today's Record Store Day.
Yeah.
Did KIX do anything today or this year for Record Store Day? I know you guys have done it in the past. I can't recall if I saw anything on the list.
Not that I know of.
Yeah. Well, is that something you would get into, like just as a music fan? Do you ever go and go to the Record Store Day stuff?
No, my sister and her husband get into that.
Oh, nice.
And they're friends. And I'm too lazy.
Oh, yeah. So my favorite album of yours is Cool Kids. I love your early stuff. The first 2 records are... Actually, no, the first 3 records are truly a really nice run. I enjoy those a lot. So can you take me back to the days of putting Cool Kids together? Like, what do you remember about those sessions?
We did it down at Criteria in Miami.
Oh, nice.
Which is a legendary studio.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything about it until we got there, and I started finding out who had been there before, and like Layla was recorded in Studio B.
Oh, yeah.
And what was cool was I can't remember I think we're Studio A. Studio B was Tom Dowd's studio, and he was there while we were there. Like we were recording, and I got to meet him.
Oh, nice.
And then I meet these people, and then I go back and find out who they are because I'm not sure. And it was so cool. Like I forget what he was working on, but while we were meeting Tom Dowd. In the entrance of Studio B, Gary Rossington and his wife came to talk to him about doing their next record. And so I got to meet Gary Rossington at the same time, and then it was mind-blowing. And then one day we're sitting in the lounge in the lobby, and all 3 Bee Gees walk in.
Oh, no kidding.
And they're just milling around, and they're hello.
Yeah, with the Aussie accents, yeah. Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool. But what was your reason?
Well, just take me back to those days of putting that album together.
Well, one thing, it was in a great location.
Yeah.
And then we would run around. Atlantic put us up in in this big mansion on Biscayne Island, and so we had a nice house, and there was a pool out back, and then a dock right,
So other than recording, we'd run around, we'd go out and stay out all night. There was this club called the Tree House that stayed open all night. So that was our hangout. And at the time, there was this band called the KIX.
Okay.
Playing down there, and the guitar player was Johnny Depp, and it was like a rockabilly band.
Oh, okay.
This is before his
Like Johnny Depp. Wow.
before his acting career.
Yeah.
So we made friends with those guys, and Johnny came to the studio one day. Well, we were in the middle of recording Restless Blood.
Oh no. Okay.
And he sat there and watched us. And I became friends with him for a while. I lost contact with him because of, before cell phones or anything
Right.
like that. So, once we left town, I didn't see him again until, I don't know, sometime in the mid-'80s.
Okay.
But when we got done recording that record, there was this venue, the Button South. It was like, I think it used to be a Boros. Johnny Depp's band was playing. And so we went down there and asked them if we could get up and do 3 songs.
Okay.
So they let us get up there on their gear. And so I played through Johnny's 50-watt Marshall, and I used his he had a 56 Telecaster.
Oh.
And cool. Man, the sound is so good.
Yeah.
But we did 3 songs and then got off the stage.
Well, that's awesome, man. Do you ever see him doing the Hollywood Vampire stuff in more recent years? They need to get you in that band. That's what I want to see.
I do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's real cool.
Yeah, it was funny that, like, what was that movie? Cry Baby?
Oh, yeah.
Waters movie?
Yeah.
They filmed it in Baltimore, and one night at Hammerjacks, all the Stray Cats were playing,
Okay.
and we all went down to see them.
Yeah.
We knew the Stray Cats. We had the same management.
Okay.
Well, around that Cool Kids time, we went backstage, and there was Iggy Pop, Johnny Depp, and who said porn star?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, the famous one, Ron Jeremy.
No.
Oh, okay.
Female.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, that's a hell of a story.
So that was the next time I saw Johnny Depp since Miami.
Well, that's a reminder that the '80s were the best time to party. That stuff.
Then I got to meet Iggy Pop, and it was so cool because Iggy Pop mentioned "Don't Close Your Eyes," and it was just when it was starting.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought,
Yeah.
Good song. That's one of our songs.
One of my favorite songs of yours is, I think it's off the first album. It's Yeah, and I've always wondered that the spoken word part of that was that inspired at all by what George Thorogood would do with One Bourbon, One Scotch, and One Beer when he would do tell my landlady I ain't got the rent this month, and he would kind of talk through like the first part of the song for like a couple of minutes.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, no, beautiful. Kind of a cool thing that I like hearing in songs. I was just always wondered if there was a connection there.
Nah, it came from a live performance.
Yeah.
Because we got signed by Atlantic off of a live performance. So our manager just sent a live tape over, and our A&R guy said, "You got to do that part in that song."
Yeah.
So Steve had to memorize. The night that you taped it for the Atlantic people, we took that tape and rolled it that rack. That was the only night that he ever did that rap. Like usually he do a different one every night, and so then from then on he had to do that rap.
It's funny as hell. I crack up every time. Okay, last question for you. The phrase "get your monkeys out." Hilarious. Where did that come from?
You have to ask Donnie.
Okay.
In fact, it's funny.
One of the best ever titles I've ever seen.
I think we all hated that song. Donnie song.
Okay.
Liked it.
Well, you know what? At least there's one fan of it, I guess. Well, okay. Well, Brian, tell me what you're up to nowadays.
Still playing with Final Bucket.
Okay.
It's very occasional though.
Okay.
It's nothing steady. And I'm living here in Nashville.
Oh, awesome.
So I'm wide open. I'm open to maybe make some connections and do something.
Cool. And people can find out about what you're up to on your social media. Speaking of your social media, I am also a Black Cat owner. I love all the pictures you post. That's awesome. It has been such a joy talking with you today. Thank you for your stories and your time, man. This has been great.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay. Thanks, Brian. This was awesome.